We mess it up because we're holding on to toxic baggage. The last 5 trades, man. You don't know, ICT. You weren't there, man. I'm at the verge of blowing my combine or losing my funded account. Yeah, I get it, man. I get it. I've never traded those sim prop firm company accounts, but I've been there. I've been there where I'm at the point where the account's going to be blown. I'll have to add more money. I've been there. But you have to sweet talk yourself. Remember, you got to be honest, like I was with her. And she reciprocated sincerely and encouraged me. That's exactly what you do in your trading journal. You have no purpose, no measurement, no guidelines, no boundaries, like a cowboy, like a drunken cowboy. And you can't sustain that kind of stuff. Sure, you might get a lick here and there, catch a little bit of this and catch a little bit of that and look real good. But eventually what happens, you're going to see something else that catches your eye. And you're going to step outside that relationship that you have with that bright young girl and your side piece to chase something else. Because you have no morals, you have no character, and you have no discipline. And you're not happy. So you're with that person right now, occupying a space that you're really reserving for someone that you probably will never meet. Because you keep making all poor decisions. You're placing yourself in bars on the weekend, wasting your friggin' money. Smoking weed, drinking too much, doing stuff you shouldn't do, instead of focusing on where are you going to be in 10 years? Where are you going to be in 5? Are you going to be able to support yourself? How about a family? You seen how things are expensive right now? Jobs ain't doing it anymore, folks. You got to find ways to make money. And there's no better way than what we do in trading. You can write your own check, but you can't do it if your head's not right. So this is what I mean when I say, you gotta fix a lot of things, and you discover a lot of things. Many times I've had emails from men saying, listen, I've been trying to do this and I'm failing and I'm not being able to find consistency and I lose and I do stupid things. And the first question I ask them all the time is, how's your home life? Well, I'm with somebody that doesn't believe in me and I'm trying to impress them and try to, right, there you go, there's your problem. That's why I was messing up. I changed my direction in trying to impress someone that didn't want to be with me, that never, ever, ever gave me those words of encouragement, cheated on me. And then I find someone new who did everything opposite. And I wasn't trying to impress her with, I'm smart. I wasn't trying to impress her with, I made X amount of money, but risking too much. What kind of message would that be? Because she's asking for the analytics. How much did you risk to make that $11,000? $1,200? Wow, that's good. Wow, that is really good. What is she processing in her mind? Remember, she's going to school, Bill Julie. She's in her third year of business management. She's thinking, this guy's a keeper. He's not a gambler. He's not recklessly plunging ahead. So if I got with him, he's not going to lose the mortgage, lose the house, lose everything. He's not going to put our nest egg, if we're putting it, aside for the future. He's not going to put us in the poorhouse. I recognize that. I'm thankful that I was able to be astute enough at the time to recognize that. Because if I would have been the cowboy I was trying to get my ex back, I think that I probably would have sowed some discouragement. And because I was transparent with her, and she was sincere. She never poured it on thick. She never said over the top, embellishments of, oh, well, you're just amazing. She just, out of the blue, we would be sitting there and she'd think to herself, and she, you know what? I was thinking about this today. Like, you literally look at those things on that paper, because back then it wasn't like we have it now right on our phone. We could just push a button. I had to physically draw the charts, open, high, low, and close. And I was doing it with like 18 markets. Tedious, very stupid. Should have just picked one. And my real success came when I came to just one and two markets, bonds and S&P. But she would say to me, like we would be in the mall, and she would turn to me and she starts smiling. She says, I think it's crazy that you do what you do and you can make money doing that. Like, that's wild. She never asked for anything. She never asked for anything. My girlfriend got an $11,000 engagement ring in 1993. Do the math on that. Do the inflationary markup on that today. That was the biggest one I could get at Nusinoff at the time. Charles Nusinoff. And why did I go there? Because Sharon, her mother, said, listen, we already accept you, but at least check the display down there. I'm like, okay, well, I got to make sure mommy looks, like she's got it together. I had to give back the Littman's marquee diamond ring that I got her. That was the one she said yes to. But when we were in Harbor Courts Hotel at the restaurant, and I was kneeling down in my attempt to hide my shaking, trembling knee because everybody was staring at me. So you hear me in the way I talk. I'm not that way in person. I'm quiet. I'm reserved. I'm always sitting in the room with my back in the corner and I'm observing everyone else. I don't walk in the room and try to command and own the room. But you would expect that the way I talk to you in these presentations or in my videos. Why? I have authority in that area, that arena. I have authority there. But if you meet me, you're not on the other side of my trade. You're meeting me as the person, Michael. I'm very reserved. But when I was on my knee proposing to her, I was scared to death because I saw everyone else looking at me. And I was thinking to myself, am I lucid dreaming right now? Or is this real? Because if it's not real, I don't want to wake up. That's how good it was. And I was afraid that they could see inside me and see all the frailties of me being afraid that I would lose this at any moment. At any moment, this would all fade away. Could they see that in me? Could they peer into my soul and see the underlying fear of me not having this anymore? I didn't want to lose it. Making money, secondary. Securing a life partner that believed in me, that literally told her friends when I met them, this is my boyfriend, and then eventually became, this is my fiance. Oh yeah, how you doing? So what do you do? She finishes it for him immediately. He scribbles on charts and money jumps into his bank account. And her girlfriend Ginger was like, what? I was like, well, it's a little bit more involved than that, but that's a nice way of being an icebreaker. And then it was a very easy way for me to open up because otherwise I would not talk. And she knew that about me. What did she do, man? She tapped into my strength. She didn't put me on a spot and embarrass me. Ladies, that's a lesson for you. And it allowed me to come out of my shell. And so much so that I was out on the dance floor at Partners, which is a bar that no longer exists in Maryland. That's how far she took me. And I didn't drink, okay, but Ginger, her girlfriend, and Shannon were both grinding on my thighs, and all the other people in the room were all just dancing around too. And I'm thinking to myself, how did I end up here? Like, this is crazy. I never went back again. I told her, I said, listen, you asked me to do that with you. I went. You can clearly see that's not my element. But Ginger and her boyfriend and her friends invited us out. So I wasn't permitted to sit on the bar stool and drink Coca-Cola only. I had to get up and stand on the dance floor and let the viewers at least see me attempt to be a dance pole, apparently, because that's about the equivalent of what I was doing. Fun times, but uncomfortable too. Now, insecurities creep in later. I'm making big money, really big money. And I have a particular family member who I had a lot of trust in. And they sowed an idea in my head that started taking over. And I can look back now and see it's the enemy, but I didn't recognize it then. What happens if she's just with you for your money? And while she never asked for anything, she never had to. I would always ask her mother, is there anything that she wants right now? And I would leave it on her bed. I would get her keys and put it in her trunk and then tell her, hey, look, can you check your trunk? I think I left my hat. And she'd find it. I would do stuff like that all the time. But I knew enough to know that she was sincere about the encouragement she gave me. But this family member made me start thinking, am I really pouring on too thick, buying her affection, when she had already given it to me beforehand? I lost sight of that. What was I doing? I was worrying about the money. Just like that happens in your trading. When you worry about the money, you lose. You make stupid decisions. And I made a dumb decision. I made a very, very dumb decision then. You gotta be careful how I say these things because it makes it sound like I'm regretting being married to my wife. I'm not regretting at all being married to my wife. But I can tap into my younger years and tell you and relive them. If I hand you my diary, it would be just like I'm saying it right now. It reads like a novel. I have always looked back and thought to myself, how would my life be if I wouldn't have listened to someone give me the worst idea to focus on, worrying about an outcome that never probably would have ever happened. The enemy introduced what if thinking again on the toxic level. See, I didn't look at Shannon every day and think, what if this doesn't go well? What if this doesn't, until this person, my family member, said, look at all the money you're making right now. I can see it now as jealousy and envy, and they wanted to disrupt a storybook ending to a very, very rotten beginning of a life. And that's what family does. I hate to admit it. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. I know, some of you will say, no, not my family. Listen, if you look around, there's one in your family. There's one that everybody wishes didn't come to the cookout. There's always one of them that says, well, he's got some issues. She's got some issues. And unfortunately, as a young man, that's the one that held a whole lot of influence over me as a young man. And then because that idea was placed in my head, what happened? I started looking for signs that, is she a gold digger? Is she a gold digger? No, she never was. But I was looking for it. And if you look for it hard enough, you'll find it. And I never called her outside of her name. I was never rude. But I just told her, I said, I don't think this is going to work out anymore. And she was upset. She cried like crazy. Like, I didn't do anything. I know you didn't. You didn't do anything. But I can't do this anymore. And you know what she did, guys? Listen to this. She gave me my ring back. Ladies, you're laughing right now, aren't you? Hey, no way, I would have gave it back. That's mine. That's mine. And I didn't ask for it. In fact, I told her, I said, I didn't ask for the ring. And I gave it back to her. And she goes, it's mine if you give it back to me with your name. And if I don't have your name, I don't deserve the ring. I'm going to tell you right now, my wife today would have never done that. And that's not a knock against her. But I'm just telling you the stark contrast. And that was my last sign I was making a mistake, and I still didn't see it. Because I was worried about the money. I latched on to bad experiences. My previous wife left me. And I didn't have anything. Just a promise that I'm going through school, and when I get out, we're going to do good. Now, I wasn't trading then. Wasn't even trying to trade. I was trying to have her believe in me, and she didn't. And here's this young lady who I followed home, drove up and down 2 o'clock in the morning to 4 o'clock in the morning, trying to find where her car was, and then left a note with her brother for her to call me. And we got together like that. That's crazy town, ain't it? And she says, if you give me your last name, then I deserve the ring. But because I'm not getting your name, I don't deserve the ring. Now, that was the beginning of just total craziness. I was back in that middle of the sea without a rudder, no sail, and regretting. And she got with someone else, so I couldn't go back to her. And here I am, looking at these charts, figuring out what am I going to do now. And I lost my support structure. I lost my accountability agent, the person that kept me in line. And I started pursuing stupid stuff. Doing this and doing that, recklessly doing this, and listening to some goober on the internet. Wasting money. Even tried to do Larry Williams, eventually trying to take his S&P signals on his 900 number. I never made money doing it. I couldn't afford the stop loss he was using. I thought I could. I was like, well, I won't risk that much. He's good at trading. His stop loss ain't going to get hit. So I would do like 1/4 of what he's risking, and I'd get stopped out or scared out of it and get out of the trade. So I never made money. I was doing all the wrong things. And I went back to nightmare, nighttime, anxiety, and pushing the edge too hard and losing sight of why I was even doing it. Until I tapped into what was doing the best in terms of keeping me on point. Positive self-talk. I would tell myself, think about what she said to you. And look how the effect it had over you. And I learned to do that practice of self-talk. I would tell myself, there's no emergency. See, anxiety comes when you're trying to live up to everyone else's expectations or wants on their schedule, on their timing. Folks, you're never going to be comfortable in that situation. You're never going to be satisfied because you're trying to live your life to please other people instead of finding someone that's in love with you as you are. You don't need to change. You don't need to outperform what they fell in love with. And I found myself trying to do that with Shannon. I wanted to top everything, always had it, always better, always better, always better. And her girlfriend, Ginger's boyfriend, hated me. He wanted to beat me up. Now, to be honest with you, I would spin kicked his fucking ass and knocked his ass out then. But he wanted to fight me because his girlfriend was telling him all the time, why don't you do that? And I was like, oh shit, here it is. I'm in deep water. So I became a toxic thing around them when I wasn't doing anything except for trying to do what I felt I needed to do, which is outdo what I ever did before to impress and make Shannon realize how much I love her and how much I'm pouring into her. If I was with my first wife and I had that kind of money coming in, I would have been taken advantage of like crazy. It would have been like holding on to a losing trade and giving it more money. All right, well, I'm down $10,000. Let's just buy 5 more contracts. Let's just average into it. So I thought about what she gave me, and I hold on to it every day today. I think about those words. I hear her voice exactly as she said it. And it makes me feel good every time. Every time I think of it, it makes me feel good. It encourages me. It reminds me that, you know what? I believe that was the Lord just tapping me and saying, listen, I've been trying to tell you your entire teenage life, this is where you're supposed to be at. So I had to use her to get your attention. So he got my attention, obviously. I didn't handle it well, mismanaged some of it, but I changed my perspective to stop dwelling on the nightmarish aspects of life and focusing on the dreamscapes. Being highly organized, very, very, very detail oriented, I started changing the way I did my journals. See, in my life journal, I would close my day and be like, man, I had such a wonderful day with Shannon. I had a wonderful day doing this, and Shannon was always in the middle of it. Contrast that with my trading journal. It was like, man, I effed this up. I don't know why this isn't working. Why the F am I doing this all the time, losing money on this type of setup? Why did I chase that? Why did I go in there doing too many contracts? I should have never listened to that article in Commodity Magazine. What was I doing? Constantly beating myself up. So what's my subconscious going to do? Well, I only find happiness in Shannon. And I'm not happy trading. I'm miserable in trading. So what happens? When I put a trade on, am I going to feel good and empowered? No. I don't have Shannon anymore. My support structure is gone. So I had to replace her words of encouragement and accountability aspect with my trading journal. And everything was a dreamscape in that. Sure, I probably lost a trade. I went in, tried it again, still lost on that one. But I would go in and say, you know what? I'm thankful that I had this opportunity to learn 2 lessons today that cost me money. So there's value behind it now. I had to pay a price for this information. Now you can bitch and kick and scream and say, I don't want to lose. I want to find a model that never loses. Let me tell you a secret, okay? If you're writing things down, write this down. Every trading approach or model is perfect. It's perfect. It's flawless. It doesn't have any losing transactions. Bet you never realized that, have you? Every system, every application, every indicator, every buy and sell indication you would get as a trader, no matter what you use, it's flawless until you go in and F it up. You can flip a quarter. Heads you buy, tails you short. Or simplify it like this. When you're bullish, if it comes up heads, you'll take action and engage. If it comes up tails, don't take the trade. Only risk 0.25%. Over a year, you're gonna make money. Don't believe me? Test it. Test it. Because you're removing the emotions. You're removing the outward stimuli that's causing you to take a trade with more contracts than you should. We mess it up because we're holding on to toxic baggage. The last 5 trades, man. You don't know, ICT. You weren't there, man. I'm at the verge of blowing my combine or losing my funded account. Yeah, I get it, man. I get it. I've never traded those sim prop firm company accounts, but I've been there. I've been there where I almost am at the point where the account's going to be blown. I'll have to add more money. I've been there. But you have to sweet talk yourself. Remember, you got to be honest, like I was with her. And she reciprocated sincerely and encouraged me. That's exactly what you do in your trading journal. You have to love yourself. You have to care about yourself enough not to talk down to yourself. Do not punch down on your developing future self. If you do that, you're going to stagnate and stunt your growth. And you're going to make it miserable as you go through it. You want to make it longer than it has to be? Talk toxic in your journal. Share your journal with someone else. And you're going to set yourself up for ruin. You got to be honest. Be able to pour yourself out in these journals. Sweet talk yourself. Start looking through the lens of a dreamscape where there's nothing negative. You ever notice in a dream, a good dream, there's no villains? Think about that. There's no, well, something bad could have happened here. That stuff doesn't happen, does it? What is your brain telling you? It's removed all of the toxicity of the everyday living. And it's focusing on nurturing you. That's what that good dream is doing. It's therapy for yourself because you're going through something. And then you have nightmares. When you have nightmares, when things are going good. Why? Because deep down inside, you're afraid shit's about to go tits up. That's how the brain works. I've never had a bad dream. Ever. Ever, ever, ever. Because I had a bad day. They always happen when I had a good day and I went to sleep and my brain was readying myself for, okay, eventually this is what's about to happen to you. You're tied up on the railroad track and the guy's laughing, grinning over top of you, and he's got his boot on your neck laughing. He's going to jump out of the way before the train gets here and he's going to run you over. Really far extreme, obviously, but it's just to make light of not something funny. But we wrestle with that. And because I have a very, very aggressive mind, it's a hyperactive brain, I easily lose attention on something because my mind's going 1,000 miles an hour. Constantly. I'm always dealing with a thought or some concern jumping in ahead of the front of the line. And I feel like unless I'm highly organized, I spend my time anxiously worrying about not managing the ideas that jump in front of me. That's what a hyperactive, creative mind does. But see, today they'll call it that attention deficit. You're retarded. You're something wrong with you. You're not. In my earlier years in school, I sucked at my grades because this was not, I knew enough that I'm not going to do this stuff when I get out. Like, this is all dumb. Challenge me with something. And when I started learning computer programming, suddenly, math and science, I excelled in. English, not so much. Social studies, not so much. But math and science, bam! I'm staying over after class. Math teacher looked at me like, don't you do anything outside of school, like baseball? And I said, yeah, I did. I dropped that. I want to learn this. I was learning basic language. Why? Because it interested me. So if you were going through school and you felt like, well, I didn't do good in school, it's not because you're a loser. It's not because you're stupid or you're retarded or you have some learning disability. You have a supercharged brain. God blessed you with a brain that's absolutely phenomenal. He gave you something that he knows if you listen and obey what he's laying in front of you as opportunities to use it, you're going to do things way beyond the average person. Way beyond it. But this world's lying to you, saying, yeah, you got a learning disability. Let me put you on some medication. because they want to make you stupid with the medication. They want to dumb you down. That's what they do. Everybody, look, let me tell you something. My youngest son, we had him assessed, and he said, well, he has a learning disability. And I said, he ain't getting no medicine. And I'll homeschool him, thank you. This boy has the most beautiful creativity and imagination. You give him anything, paper, wood, plastic, metal, he can put things together and shape things and sculpture things. And like he made a puppet, a hand puppet, okay, when he was 5 years old. And my wife and I were like, what in the world? Now, I'm not talking about like a sock with some buttons taped on it. Like, he went through the whole process of making it, and there was no website that taught him. He just sat down in his brain and said, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to use this, cut up an old t-shirt here, use this stick over here from a pennant flag to use to make one of the arms move around. And he, on his own, he did that. Retarded, stupid, held back, unequipped brains don't do that. Okay? But that's what the world will tell you. They're constantly beating you down. They're constantly beating you down. And then here you are, just like I did. I'm taking that mentality and placing it right in my journal. Why are you wasting your time talking down to yourself? You need to stop that stuff. You need to cut it out. Because the only thing you're doing is reinforcing the anxiety that you feel. And that anxiety will manifest itself in performance anxiety.